When most of us think of household pets, cats, maybe dogs tend to spring to mind, right? Well, Dutch national Lillian Donders has a penchant for the humpback variety, which has earned her the nickname, the Camel Lady. When you visit her home on the outskirts of Dubai, chances are this is where you'll find her. With her camels.
I get up very early. Start up in the morning before 6. You prepare yourself, you go to the camels, you greet them all, and you take 2 out. Because here it's very difficult to walk with all of them, so I took the 2 oldest out. They have to walk for me about at least an hour, and because it's good for their body and for the bloodstream. And then they are allowed to graze, and they know that. The emotional connection she shares with her camels at times seems more reminiscent of one you would share with an old friend. They are very special creatures. They are very loyal, very intelligent, and they go their own way. And so perhaps we have something in common? Good girls. At times resembles one a mother shares with her child. My husband and I have 2 sons, and all 4 of us see them as part of the family. And like a mischievous child, sometimes they listen. Come on, girls. Good girls. Good girls. Good girls. And sometimes they don't. Can you stop for a moment? Shaheen, you have my whole shawl in your mouth. Come, Sylvia. Come. We have to go to her, huh? Whichever way you choose to define it, you have to admit that it's not a very common sight. Come in, Julie. So this is where they all are? They are, yeah. 6 of them. Well, they look pretty busy over there. They are. They have their evening meal, which is grains and saboos and vegetables, because we don't throw things away. Everything goes to them except for onions. I don't give. So who've we got here? You've got 6 camels. Yes, and there's only one boy. He's a little guy. And the rest is ladies. This is Razel here and Zahra here. This is Shaheen, this is Sheba, Zubeida and Zenubia. So they don't mind that we're talking in here? No, no. But they look friendly enough. They are friendly. They are really friendly. Because they have been their whole lives with us, so they have never been bad treated. I mean, you know, we don't hit the camels. We are really friendly with them and respect them too. So and care for them, and they know that. I have to tell you that I'm not really an animal lover myself, but I feel pretty calm in here. Good. But you have to admit it's kind of unusual for a European to move to the Middle East and kind of have a camel farm in their backyard. Dutch people are having cows, so camels are like cows. Is that it? I don't know. They have something over them that perhaps I cannot describe it either in words. It's the feeling, you know. It is a mutual feeling from both sides. Because, for instance, Zenubia, this camel, when I bought her, I didn't choose her. She chose me. She chose you? She chose me. How so? When I had heard about this white camel with a baby from the desert, from the south of Damascus, and a sheikh in Palmyra had bought her, but he wanted to sell her, I said, to a friend of mine, can you pick her up? And because he was selling camels. And he did. He picked her up, but he picked up 6 camels and 3 babies. And I said, when I came to his farm, I said, why did you do that? He said, perhaps you don't like her. And she comes to me, puts her head in my arms. So I had the right camel, and she was extremely nice. She still is. She has a heart of gold. She is the queen. We think she has really something queen-like. Hi. That's what I said to you, that they are like little children, kind of curious. So what is happening here? Very friendly. Like I said, I do feel safe. But what's one thing that a person who has never had any contact with camels should know about camels? They kick. Aha.
So we're standing behind the camels here, so we're probably not at the ideal angle.
No, and they don't kick just like that. They kick if something happens unexpectedly. And camels have an incredible memory.
Really? So it's not just the elephants?
No. And the camel, if someone treats a camel bad, the camel will never forget that. And so when that person comes back suddenly, he can be attacked by the camel. And what you have to do is either take off your clothes and dump them on the floor so that the camel can roll over it and be angry on that, or trying to get away from it. But it's very,
I also understand that camels are very emotional.
The emotions, they cry when something happens. Once in the market in Sunau, the mother, she was sold, the baby was left behind, and the baby was crying, big tears. And really like us, you know,
like
and really,
tears come, weeping.
Weeping, and I couldn't believe it. So I went to this baby and I talked to it and I tried to calm it down and said, okay, you know, your mommy's not there, but you will be calm, you know, and everything will be okay. And and perhaps the voice, how I did it, I don't know, but the baby calmed down, and I went sitting on the floor, and the baby went sitting and put his head or her head on my leg.
Lillian's love affair with Bedouin art and culture began when her husband was first transferred to the region some 30 years ago, and is apparent the minute you walk through her front door. And it didn't take her long to blend in. After a mere 6 months, she was not only adopted by a Bedouin tribe, she was made an honorary sheikha. Sheikha Leila, to be exact. In 1997, having just brought home her first 4 camels, mother pairs Zenobia and Zahra, and Zubaydah and Sheba, Lillian could now fulfill her long-held wish. That is, to walk the ancient camel caravan routes. But then, while Lillian was in the midst of planning her voyage, she received news that would alter the course of her journey and her life. At age 45, Lillian was diagnosed with breast cancer. And to compound the situation, Lillian learnt that her husband was to be transferred once again. So from Syria, the country they'd called home for the past 3 years, they'd be moving to Iran. Faced with coping with breast cancer, chemotherapy, and radiation, all while moving house once again, Lillian turned to her camels for strength. And they didn't let her down.
I think if I had not my camels, then I'm pretty sure I was through it, but they helped me more. They cared for me, they were always worried about me. I had in that time only Zubaydah and Sheba. Sheba was annoyed when I was traveling. Zubaydah, on the other hand, was very, very caring. She was kissing me and very much showing, I love you. And then, okay, you had the treatment, but I went down to walk with them in the morning. Not that far, you know, slowly. The first day we did a little round, and then the second day more. And so they helped me also to recover every time, because you go for a treatment that is day 1 and day 8, and then you had 3 weeks nothing. Mm-hmm. And in that time, you had to recuperate yourself. You had to be strong again to get the next hit one way, because it's a hit on your body. And these camels were there for me to do that.
So they were there every step of the way?
Yeah, they were.
At this point, most people in her situation would probably have called off the whole idea of a camel caravan. But Lillian Donders is not most people. Although she was still recovering from chemotherapy and radiation treatment for her cancer, Lillian was determined to go through with the journey. But instead of following her initial plan to walk from the Syrian capital Damascus to the city of Palmyra and back, she decided to take an even longer route. Her aim was twofold: to raise awareness in the region for the breast cancer cause, as well as to send a message to the international community.
Actually, in the Arab world, as a woman walking on your own with your camels, you're safe. It means that the people, because the people are so kind, they are actually excited that you're doing this. They are excited that you acknowledge their existence. And when you are living like we were living as Bedouins, they really appreciated that. And I felt that because people are always scared in Europe from how do I have to act in the Middle East, and actually it's only very few places you have to cover up 100%. Otherwise you can walk around like we do now. We don't have to wear veils. You know, the times change, and the women are coming out. The women are coming out in a big way. They go to schools, they get a fantastic education, they want to work, they want to have their own existence, they want to show their freedom. And I think that is fantastic.
So you've seen a tremendous evolution since you've been here in the past 30 years.
Yeah, I have.
So, in April 2000, the Caravan for Cancer began. And some 3 months and 3,000 kilometers later, Lillian, her 4 camels, and the rest of her entourage walked into the Iranian capital, Tehran. Having raised $35,000 to open a women's clinic in Syria. Since 2004, Dubai has been home to Lillian and her family. How did she arrive? Well, once again, convention had nothing to do with it. She simply packed up her camels and walked from Tehran to Dubai via Oman. This time, the voyage, dubbed the Caravan of Hope, took a total of 7 months, with sponsorship proceeds being dedicated to building a mother and child clinic for Palestinian refugees. Today, Lillian Donders is cancer-free, a fact that she attributes to the emotional connection she shares with her camels. Her advice to other women faced with seemingly insurmountable odds?
I think you have to put up strength, you have to make hope and fight and have faith in yourself, and because life is, in my opinion, a gift, and it's very important to enjoy that life because it might be shorter than you think it is, but it is something that you have to cherish.
To answer the question, does she have any more amazing journeys in store for her and her camels? Well, knowing Lillian, as long as her camels are at her side, I wouldn't be surprised.